Welcome back to the O Hockey Show, and that team right there that I'm pointing at has been eliminated from playoff contention because they are so bad it hurts. So last night, the San Jose Sharks, the terrible team that they are, lost to the other really bad team, but at least has a bright future ahead of them. The Columbus Blue Jackets, one place below them in the standings. 31st the Sharks are, and 32nd the Blue Jackets, but the Blue Jackets do have 2 games in hand, so I believe one win. I think the Blue Jackets are 3 points ahead below them, so there's a lot of games left, so really at this point anything could happen. But between the 2 worst teams, the Sharks lost, so technically speaking, they're the worst team in the world. And which isn't surprising. Going into this season, we know that these teams are going to be bad. So going forward, if you're going to actually be following along with me, is I'm going to talk about each team that gets eliminated from playoff contention. I'll make a video like this talking about them, and then with the playoff teams, with 16 days left, I will go with like the Bruins first because you know they're going to make it in, and as we get closer, and it'll be narrowed down, we know who it is, so then it won't be choppy of who gets into the playoffs or not. But when we're talking about these terrible teams here at the bottom, like the Sharks, who are clearly not going to make the playoffs ever, there's not a lot of substance to talk about. We know this team sucks. We knew that going into this season. We know this going into next season. This team isn't good. We've known that for the last 4 years now. This team is not going to make the playoffs. So we're just going to, this isn't a season review of the Shark season. That's after the season's over. So I'm just going to talk about why this team, as if all these teams that get eliminated actually had a shot of making it in. So that's what I'm kind of taking this in as. If it was like a high school team, a high school team, all of you, like none of you are actually that amazing, but they're different levels, and you all have hopes and dreams that you can make it in. And so all the teams have a fair chance of winning and making it into the playoffs. So the Sharks, what is their problem? Well, one thing is that they have a lack of everything, and I'll break that down here with all these couple of stats I've written down. So one thing is goal scoring wise. They only have 2 20-goal scorers on this entire team. You take a look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the team, they have like 5 20-goal scorers, and like 2 of them are in the 30s, one of them's up into the 40s. So like, a lot of goal scoring going on there. The Sharks, only 2 20-goal scorers. Logan Couture, Captain Cooch over there, signed this hat, actually. You can't really tell by the camera there, but it's signed by the captain there. And 24 goals is what he has. Erik Karlsson, I believe his career high is 21, so he's 1 goal behind his career high, or now he's at his, I can't remember, I read it the other day, and the numbers confuse me. But 20 goals, I mean, as we know, Erik Karlsson, the highlight of this year, I'll talk about more about that as the Sharks season review at the end of the season. So other than that, nothing really going. Tomas Hertl, I believe, is at 19 goals, so he's right there. But basically, these guys, even the 20-goal scorers, you're not getting into the 30s. This team has not got anybody who's really producing that much. When it comes to 50-plus point scorers, which 50 points is what you're looking for on your second line, maybe your third guy on the top line, right? And the Sharks, they've got 3 on the entire team. Couture, Hertl, and Erik Karlsson. They've only got 3 above 15. Everyone below that, I think, God, now I'm going to look stupid. But one person's up to 45 points. It goes 45, and then Couture and Hertl with 58 and 55, and then Erik Karlsson astoundingly with 85, and then someone right below. But everyone below that's in the 20s and 10s and 1s. So yeah, not doing good offensively for the Sharks, but the entire team is in the negative, which I somehow didn't write the rest of Pouliot's name, but Pouliot is the only guy on the team with a non-negative number. He's a +1, I think, but he's only played 4 games this year. So Pouliot, an exception to a very hard exception to look at. So the entire team's negative, so they're always getting scored on. So the Sharks, they are 24th this year for goals for, with only 197. So goal scoring wise, I mean, they're not the worst, but they're far from anywhere. They're far from the halfway point of the league. Goals against, though, this is where they're hurt a lot. Goals against, they are second to worst in 31st place with a 257 against. The only team worse is the Blue Jackets with 268 goals. So the Sharks obviously get scored on a lot. And just a crazy stat to me is goals against per game, like average-wise, they're at 3.78 a game. They're getting scored on almost every game, at least 3 and almost 4 times a game. every game, you take a look back at their last, I think it was like 15 games I was looking at, scores for the Sharks, oh my goodness gracious. The Sharks can't score at all. They're all in the zeros, ones, and twos, barely making it to 3 goals in a game. The teams against them scoring 5, 6, 7, 8 goals a game sometimes. And the Sharks can't keep anything out of their net. Jim Reimer, though, he back there, he's not the worst goaltender in the world. He actually, I thought, would have been a good pickup for a team needing a goaltender. But obviously, I mean, his numbers are pretty bad, and so is Kaapo Kahkonen. And one thing the Sharks do have to look forward to, I guess I could sprinkle in a little bit of lightness into this video, is the Sharks. They got Eklund coming up. They got Zetterlund out of that trade, which is I already made a whole video about that. Matt Kanyemi, though, back in the net. He looked pretty good in his one game. I think he only played one game. And he seems like a good prospect coming up for goaltending-wise, but that's way down in the line for the future. So overall, this team's terrible. 26th on the power play percentage with only 18.4%. However, the one good thing, the one shining light, is kind of similar to the Coyotes a few years ago, is that their penalty kill's actually not the worst. They're 6th in the league. And my guess is that they take a lot of penalties, or I don't know. It's weird. Maybe they need to just play 4 and 4 more. I mean, 4 guys on the ice more, because it's weird. 6th in the NHL. I mean, that's like high. That's not just like, oh, they're above average. They're in the number 6th team. They're beating out like a ton of teams for penalty kill wise. So pretty good on the penalty kill for some reason. But yeah, so overall, there's nothing else I really can say except basically the Sharks suck. I mean, we know that going into it, and as the teams get further along that get eliminated, in a few weeks when the Panthers get eliminated or the Capitals get eliminated, that'll be more interesting to look into what's actually wrong with this team, what happened this year, who's failing, what's to look at. But the Sharks, I mean, we know these type of teams, the Coyotes, the Blue Jackets at this point, the Ducks, we know they're not going to make it into the playoffs this year, so there's really not a lot to talk about other than just to say this team sucks, and going into their review, I'm going to say what they need to do, but that is at least a month away before me doing those. So for now, that's all I had to say about these teams going forward. It'll get more interesting down the line, so I'm sorry that this is a pretty stupid video, and I'm sorry for wasting your time. So thank you for watching this if you've made it to this point. If you liked it, you might as well pick up your free subscription down below by hitting that red subscribe button. If you liked it somehow, leave a like, not a dislike, but if you did dislike it, go down below and tell me why. Why? I know I'm an idiot. Tell me all about how stupid I am. The Sharks, they're the best team in the world. What am I talking about? So until next time, thank you for watching this, and too sweet, and ta-ta for now.